don't play the music too long. You get in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Well, make sure we don't go past the BMI, ASCII, whatever the app limit is.
That means you got 5 seconds to finish the text.
Yeah, you got.
All right, we're back. We're back. Wait a second. I might not hit send on that text. It's for Sean. It's business. It's very important. It's very important. But we are live. Well, live. Here we go with the live again. It's a podcast.
We're always live. We're always live.
Well, I mean, but again, I don't know when people listen. I mean, it's it's at your demand. It's on demand. It is podcasting. It's the Jeff Dubay Show. Get us on Spreaker. Get us on iTunes. Get us on iHeartRadio. We're at Devil's Advocate, which is where we've been since the beginning. This is the first official advertiser of the Alive and Social Network. The first people to get in line and get on board and support what we do. So a lot of loyalty to the folks at Devil's Advocate. And Tony Anderson is a bartender at Devil's Advocate. And he's also a great basketball mind. He's a scout, and he runs a website. He's going to break down the Big Ten basketball season for us about 15 minutes from now. But first, we're going to talk a little movies, a little Critics' Choice with another member of the Alive and Social Network. When we're on our game, when Jason and I are sober and doing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm always sober. I don't need any more calls from AA.
Speak for yourself.
I just dropped my phone. But when we're on our game and we're doing the things we're supposed to do, we mention that there are a number of fine programs on the Alive and Social Network with Suhan, with Rusty Gatenby, with the Pubcast, we got Colleen Cruz coming on board, right? Did I get the name right?
I've heard the rumor.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot going on. You got the Wednesday night music showcase at Shamrocks with Last Ride Band. And the Friday night live band karaoke. But one of those names I just mentioned, Rusty Gatenby, former core worker of mine at Hubbard. We're all Hubbard cast-offs, by the way. I mean,
are we?
Well, I mean, this whole
everybody
network.
at this table, basically. Yeah.
Well, and this whole network, it seems like. I mean, Suhan. And,
yeah, that's true.
Sean, and I mean, you can go right down the road. We've all been there.
Wow.
And that was supposed to be the warm family, fuzzy, cuddly, huggy place, that we wanted to work. But
yeah.
I had a much better run at the big, mean corporate place. But it is what it is. But, Rusty, I've always thought
Is
of
it
you.
ladies' night, by the way? You're surrounded by, you got a table of gals here, a table of gals there.
Kind of how it is at Devil's Advocate, actually. There's usually a lot of gals in here.
Are they just flocking to the Dubay show?
Yes, thank you. That's what I was trying to say. It's wherever I go, it's ladies' night. I'm the traveling ladies' night. That's what it is.
What is the cologne that they wear in Anchorman?
No, I just didn't take a shower. I got a little musk going here today. It is what it is.
Ladies like that.
That's
your
gross.
manly smell. Yeah, we got the Critics' Choice Awards.
We do.
We're just announced the nominations.
And you know what? My whole life, I associated my whole adult life. I've associated you with entertainment. I mean, working at Hubbard.
That beat for a long time.
I'm like, why is he telling people not to take 35W? He's an entertainment reporter. He's not a traffic guy.
I wore many hats over there.
You did indeed. But I'm glad you're wearing the proper one right now because nobody gives a shit what the on-ramps looking like if they're icing over. We want to know about entertainment. We want to know about movies and the Critics' Choice is coming up.
Yeah,
you're flying to L.A.
I'm going to L.A. I'm a member of the Broadcast Film Critics Association.
That's really cool. So do you vote on these?
I did. I voted on these.
Do you vote for the Academy Awards too?
I don't.
That'd be awesome.
That's a whole different membership. That's when you get to the Hollywood actual actors, directors, and writers.
Right.
They vote on that.
Okay.
I haven't directed a movie yet. I'm working on it.
Well, I mean, I have, but it's a little underground.
Wow, chicka, wow, wow.
Thank you for throwing in that sound effect that I should have had ready.
So, again, I'm not a big awards guy. I'm not plugged into the entertainment industry. But the Critics' Choice is typically kind of a foreshadowing of what you get at the Academy.
Exactly.
Right?
And they actually have a good track record of the ones we nominate end up typically like 95%. They're the ones that end up getting Academy Award nominations.
That's awesome.
And then the actual show is on January 15th, and those winners typically 95% or better. Those are the ones who go on and ended up winning the Academy Awards. So that's why this is a big deal.
Wow.
It's actually it's a show of what you're going to get with the big Academy Awards.
And I know that there are a lot of Oscar parties in this town, especially. It's kind of an artsy-fartsy, liberal kind of media capital kind of place. I mean, Minneapolis is. And I know there's always a lot of big, Oscar parties, and people have their pools and everything.
They do, yeah.
So what's the point of having a pool if we know who's going to win? The critics, seriously. I mean, why can't we cheat off the Critics' Choice? And just go from party to party and clean up.
Dude, that is actually the way to go. So the Golden Globes also had their announcement on their nominees, but the Golden Globes, they're kind of a weird deal. They've caught attention over the last 20, 30 years as kind of the minor league to the Academy Awards, but they're voted on by these obscure Hollywood foreign press people, and a lot of them, when they've done research, they're not even actual critics. They're like somebody's wife or cousin or whatever is doing the voting or whatever. The big news this year is that Angelina Jolie's movie Unbroken did not get any nominations for the Golden Globes.
Is that surprising?
It is surprising.
Was it good?
It was good. The book.
She's legit. She's not just Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
The movie is Unbroken, based on a book, a true story about a Olympic runner who ran during the German Berlin Olympics. You know, when Adolf was in the stands.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. He ends up getting.
This is the female Jesse Owens.
What?
This is the female Jesse Owens.
Who is?
Just this person you're talking
about.
Oh,
no, it's a dude. The runner is a guy.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Because Jesse Owens was there.
Jesse Owens was in that Olympics. And
I just assumed with Angelina Jolie, she was playing a woman runner.
No, the movie you would not expect Angelina Jolie to be directing this movie. The book is awesome. This guy's tale of survival. He ends up getting lost at sea, survives like 47 days in a raft, sharks, attacks, goes to prison of war in Japan. It's brutal. It's ugly.
I've seen the previews for this.
Yes.
It looks good. It looks really good.
It is good.
Well, then who the hell is the Golden Globes to pick on? Who do they think they are?
Exactly. Well, she did get a nomination from the Critics' Choice Awards, so there you go.
I'm glad you got her back.
We nominated it for Best Picture. It's not going to win, but did get a nomination. All right, so let me give you a list, and you said you've seen none of these, but...
Well, I'm looking at the list.
Whiplash, nominated.
I haven't seen Whiplash.
I haven't even heard of Whiplash.
Whiplash is very good. It is a story about a kid who's a drummer, a jazz drummer, and his coach is just like this. Do you ever see The Great Santini, Robert Duvall, where he's bouncing the ball off his son's head, shoot again, shoot again?
No.
Well, anyway, in Whiplash, this drummer has a coach who's just this mean son of a bitch. He's going to actually win for Best Supporting Actor. He's the J.K. He's in the.
I got the list right here. J.K. Simmons.
Simmons, yeah, he's the guy from the insurance.
I know my shit.
He's the guy from the insurance commercials. Bum bum bum. He played the father in Juno.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got you now.
That's J.K.
All right.
Simmons.
Okay.
He was in the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Yep.
Yeah. He is a mean son of a bitch in this movie, Whiplash, and he will win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. So we, Unbroken, we nominated The Theory of Everything, nominated for Best Picture. It's Stephen Hawking's story.
Oh, yeah. That looked good.
Selma, it's actually the story of
Alabama?
It is. Alabama. Why am I having a brain freeze? I want to say
Rosa Parks?
Martin Luther King Jr. And how Selma played a role in getting civil rights and the vote for the black people. It's actually very good because it shows how the President Johnson, had to deal with Martin Luther King Jr. and how he was forced to do legislation because of Martin Luther King.
And ironically, I mean,
timely.
Civil rights stuff happened during Johnson's administration, but he's a redneck.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes. Well, he is. Or was.
I mean, the moments with President Johnson are actually really good in Selma.
I bet it is.
Because it shows that he was concerned about how he was going to go down in history.
Yeah. Well, he's from Texas, right?
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. That has that's a.
Oh, was that good?
Did you like that?
It was good.
It looks like it'd be amazing.
Yeah,
it is.
And we all want to take shots at. Everyone wants to see some, a tabloid journalist, a TMZ kind of person go down, and that's what it kind of looks like happens in this movie.
It's actually the opposite. I don't want to give away the end.
Oh.
Jake Gyllenhaal plays this intense guy. If it bleeds, it leads. And I worked with these overnight photographers, so I watched it, knowing what these guys did, because you're chasing drunk crashes and blood and overnight shootings and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, a lot of it is real. Now, this guy just amps it up, and I don't want to give too much away, but Jake Gyllenhaal plays a great, crazy kind of Robert De Niro taxi driver.
Does he make bad movies? He's past his bad movie stage, isn't he?
Jake Gyllenhaal,
he can
really
correct. He can pick and choose now.
Exactly.
I mean, he was some kind of Prince of Persia weird kind of thing for a while, but
listen to you.
Exactly. But what did he make off of that movie?
But I mean, he doesn't need that shit anymore.
It was a bomb. They were hoping it was going to be a franchise, and it was a bomb, and it tarnished him for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he started to do these more independent movies, not a big budget.
Yeah, he got into the Brokeback Mountain stuff.
And now he's back in the A game. Now he's back. He's a player. He's also nominated for acting for the movie.
That Final Shift or whatever, the police movie, whatever. That looked good.
That
too.
was End of Watch.
End of Watch was awesome.
How badly did I butcher that title?
You were way off, but we knew what you meant.
End of Shift. That's like the bartenders here.
End of Watch. Imitation Game was nominated. True story about the Enigma code and the guy who actually basically invented the first computer to break the Enigma code. And, the Nazis had this way of sending messages through a code that you couldn't break it. And Benedict Cumberbatch.
He is awesome.
This
what
guy
kind
is
of name is that?
Well,
Jesus
British
Christ.
as hell.
now it's becoming very familiar, but about 5-6 years ago, people were like, "Who the hell is Benedict Cumberbatch?"
Well, what if he like had a gay marriage to Engelbert Humperdinck? And you had to hyphenate it. Oh my
he
God.
did just get engaged, but to
Can you
a hot babe, not
Benedict Cumberbatch to Humperdinck.
a hyphenated
That'd be
name.
unbelievable. Can I have your autograph?
Awful.
I don't have an hour. Let's hurry up.
Anyway, that is a really good movie, and there's a lot of I did not know that as they follow you through this guy who invents this computer to break the Enigma code. Grand Budapest Hotel.
That's the only one I've seen.
Did
I
you
liked
like
it, though. I thought it was a good movie.
So
I wasn't enthralled, but it was good.
Wes Anderson, are you a fan of his?
I'm a fan,
Quirky.
but I'm like just above lukewarm. Like I like his stuff, but I don't go crazy for it. Like I swear most of his fans are either they're crazy for him or you don't like him at all.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere in between somehow.
I'm always entertained because visually they're weird and the characters are always unusual.
Very quirky.
And Grand Budapest Hotel is probably one of his more accessible ones, but still, everything's just a little off.
Yeah. And if you don't like Wes Anderson, you're still not going to like that
it
one.
segues
probably.
into like cartoonish action, and you're like, okay, this is totally not real. Gone Girl.
Now, this is the most commercial movie of the list, is it not?
No, Gone Girl. Yes,
Yeah.
Gone
it's gotta
Girl
be,
is
it's
the
gotta
most
be,
Yes,
commercial.
correct.
Yeah, with Ben Affleck.
Which I have nothing against that. I always think you artsy fartsies take it too far into little art house stuff.
Oh.
I want to see movies like homeschool, not homeschool, like Back to School or Wedding Crashers,
You know
winning
what
an Academy Award.
You
You
know
mean
what-
old school?
Oh,
Was that the one you meant?
I meant old school. I'm getting flustered because my food got here.
What did you get there? That is
Okay,
That's the
You want some-
poutine,
you want
and
some
now
poutine?
he's going to eat it the rest of the show.
Yeah,
So
all right.
guess who's going to be filling in on the mic?
There's more than one fork if you want some more.
You know, you talk about popular movies not getting the award attention.
I was
You
just
are
teasing.
correct.
I was
No,
just
but you're
teasing.
correct. It doesn't happen a lot. But with the Hobbit movie coming out Wednesday, we forget that the last Lord of the Rings, by the way, came out in 2001.
That long ago?
That long
Wow.
ago. And
Boy, it's about time nerds got paid again.
that third one won 11 Academy Awards.
Jesus.
Tying Ben-Hur
That's insane.
and Titanic
Peter
for the
Jackson.
most awards. So Titanic was a popular movie that swept the awards. Lord of the Rings, the third in the trilogy, swept the awards. Hobbit's not going to sweep anything. It didn't.
So
really.
Peter Jackson's gone cold.
Yeah, it's like been there, done that. It's
Yeah, you
like,
can only go to New Zealand so
He just
often.
keeps doing it over and over and over. Yeah, same
for
movie.
me,
though,
I mean, it is a spectacle. I saw Hobbit. I screened it. My 13-year-old son loved it. You know, you're thoroughly entertained watching it on the big screen because it is so amazing. But you're
Yeah.
kind of like, these names, I get confused. What we're going to the Gongo Bloop and watch
Yeah.
out for the Fleeter door.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
I'm
almost have to
like-
take a study, you get like a course to understand them. I mean, I
Plus-
saw, and I'm not a nerd, but I saw all the Lord of the Rings movies just for the spectacle.
Yeah.
And then when The Hobbit came out, I'm like, I'm not doing this again. Like,
Right.
I mean, give me a break.
If I was not a critic, I probably would not have gone. I actually went out last December at this time to see the second Hobbit movie. They had a huge red carpet. These things make a ton
Really?
of
Because the
dough.
people were very short, small little Hobbit
No,
people.
it
You
was
think
a
just
big. They had
throw a
big
lot of red
carpet
ribbon and they could just
for
stroll.
the short little guys. But anyway, I'm with you. I'm like, I think I've seen this like 5 or 6 times already. So, all right. Now, Boyhood is there's 10 movies that are nominated. Number 9 is Boyhood. One of my favorite movies of the year.
Can't believe I haven't seen it. Can't wait to see it.
The story is they filmed it over 12 years. So instead of hiring a young boy to play the young boy and then a middle-aged, tween to play a tween.
How the hell does somebody sell that to a studio?
Yeah.
Let's get to
Well,
these
it's
12
Linklater.
years.
He can do whatever he
We
wants.
gotta wait for this
after
kid
what
to
he's
grow
made.
up. It's like,
It
get the
is
fuck
an
outta here.
amazing feat. No one will ever do it again, I
No.
doubt. But it works. It works incredibly. You've got
I hope he wins just because he put 12 years into it.
yeah,
I don't care if it's
all the
horse
actors got together once for a couple of weeks each year, and they continued the story.
That's insane.
And it's amazing to watch. It's just incredible.
Well, and he even made how many movies during that time as
yeah,
well?
right.
Because I mean,
Whole
3 or
handful.
4, came out while he was making this.
Yeah. Because the commitment was, hey, we all agreed, pinky swear, we're going to get back together next year for 10 days
Well,
and shoot more of this
What if
movie.
cast members start dying?
Yeah, no, well,
Now what do you do?
Wow. That's,
Yeah.
glad that didn't happen.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I can't believe
Ethan
the
Hawke was probably a risk there because
Well,
he had kind of
well-
a sketchy moment in his life.
Fine, if I'm the
And
studio.
I'm looking at you, Jeff, when I say
well,
that.
seriously, when I'm in the studio, I'm looking at the cast saying, well, is this guy going to make it? I mean, this guy's got a heart. I mean, it's like you don't throw John Candy into something like that.
Right.
Because, I mean, that's almost like doing a death pool. I mean, it's just you got to make sure guys aren't.
We got a big star to do this. His name is John Belushi. We can't
Yeah,
go
wait,
wrong.
yes.
Was everyone in the movie in very good shape? Did they?
Well,
maybe
no,
they were
Ethan
conscious
Hawke
of
had.
that.
Ethan
Oh no,
Hawke
that's right. Ethan Hawke had his.
He
issues,
kind of had
but-
his boozy drug moments.
But it's not like he was a big fat guy. Like that's
No.
what I'm saying. Where
Oh, yeah,
they're
they're
coming
also-
in with they're already got issues
Patricia
and drug problems.
Patricia
and then they put that
Arquette plays
together.
the mom.
Hey, skinny guy's OD2, man.
That, just on a voyeuristic level, it's amazing to watch all these characters grow, including Patricia Arquette and Ethan Hawke, to see them grow. The story is great as well, so it's a home run. I mean, everything worked. The planets lined up. No one died, and it's all great. Now,
It's ballsy is what it is.
Yeah. Now, my favorite film is Birdman with Michael Keaton, and this was a ballsy move. They tried to film it as
Batman is now Birdman.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. His character, he was a big action hero, Birdman. He walked away from a lot of dough to make a Birdman 4 because he wanted to be taken seriously. Well, Hollywood did not want to take him seriously, and he basically goes broke. So he,
Is this the Adam West story?
yeah, he basically decides to invest in himself and do an off-Broadway serious dramatic part to let Hollywood know that, hey, I'm a real actor. I'm not just Birdman. But the thing is, it is shot with one continuous take. So it goes from you to a 2-shot to a 3-shot, walks down a hallway.
The entire movie.
Yeah.
So
people
one-
are coming in and out. Zach Galifianakis is in it. Edward Norton's in
So one
it.
flub and you got to start the whole movie over again?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's almost ballsier than a 12-year deal.
Exactly.
That's insane.
You're watching this movie going, oh, my God. You check in and out with the amazement of it. You
Before
get wrapped up in the acting. Michael Keaton
Yes.
will win the Academy
Before they
Award.
yell action, anybody got to go to the bathroom? last call, everybody. I mean, seriously.
There are cheats in it. They didn't actually do it completely with one take, but
Okay.
they do
Well, no, 'cause
15,
you'd have
20.
2.5 hours to do it.
They have 15, 20-minute stretches, though, where if Zach Galifianakis flubs a line, they do have to recue.
Yeah, yeah.
And there is movement. There is the camera guy is the rock star in this thing as well, because he's got to hit all of his marks. They actually designed, it takes place at a theater for the most part. They had to move walls in and out so the camera guy could,
Wow.
fit.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
It's
Very
amazing
ambitious.
to watch. And that, again, the story is a grand slam home run. What is that?
That's our sponsor right there.
Yeah,
she was
she
doing
owns, she owns the
bar.
place.
She was
there
A,
she was.
gorgeous, and B, was that some pornographic move she was doing? There it comes again.
She's a
There it
good-
is. Yeah,
she's a
yeah,
good-
yeah.
It's like
She's a good
slutty air
sport.
guitar.
I got a little excited. I got a little wood. I'm not going to lie to you.
So those are the 10 movies. Birdman being my favorite. Michael Keaton, I'm picking him if I'm going to do a fantasy Hollywood pool. He's my man to win
Well,
the
I
Academy
swear,
Award.
is that really actually the top of Rotten Tomatoes right now? I swear it's 1 or 2 in top movies of all time. Birdman has already
Probably.
made like the top 10 at least. It's
Probably.
crazy.
Because it's one of those things.
What? What are you talking about?
Technically,
Like
it's amazing.
movies of all time. Rotten Tomatoes is a website that just keeps
okay.
track of all those
I didn't know
movies.
Rotten
and-
Tomatoes was.
Oh, Rotten Tomatoes is a huge movie website, and they
It's-
put them.
It's actually a good go-to if you're thinking about renting or going to a movie because it compiles all the critics.
Oh.
So you don't get one guy's opinion. You'll get like 50 if you want, or just the top 10 or whatever. I'll just give you quickly the best actors. We talked about your guy, Benedict Cumberbatch, Humperdinck.
Yeah.
He's nominated. Ray Fiennes for the Budapest Hotel. Remember him in
He's awesome.
Schindler's List?
Yeah, Send 21.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? Wasn't he 21 also?
Was he?
Yeah. He was the
Don't
cheater.
recall 21.
The game show. He was the cheater.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Quiz show.
Quiz show. Yeah.
Quiz-
My
Oh,
bad.
quiz show, yes.
Whatever. Yeah.
I was thinking of the
The Kevin
Can I get
Spacey
him- can I get-
movie or
can I get
something?
one-
That's what I was thinking of.
Can I get one title right tonight? By the
No,
way, the
you've
TV
been
show
so
was.
off.
I thought you were talking 21 Jump Street. I'm
No,
like,
yeah, well, that's even worse.
The TV show was called 21.
yeah.
The movie's called Quiz Show.
Directed by Robert Redford. Yes, he was in it, Ray Fiennes. But I just remember him from
Close enough.
frickin'
assholes.
Schindler's
Jesus.
List. He made Nazis look bad in Schindler's List.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they-
Can you imagine
that was a
the
big,
gall of that man?
That was a PR hit. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, the Nazi war.
Why are you making us look bad? Stop with your badness. Ray
You know what?
Fiennes.
I mean, you look at the 20th century and the role that Germany played in it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about it, I mean, they're wedged in there with like all these great exotic places like France and Italy. You know, this
I'm
great
tightening
cuisine.
my seatbelt now. Where
Well,
are
they-
you going?
they're in there like France and Italy and Switzerland, these Romance languages with fantastic cuisine, and then you got Germany in there with shitty food and an angry-sounding language. You could be telling someone that she's the love of your life in German, and it sounds like you're going to kick her ass. I mean, I don't blame them for being a little angry. They're the redheaded stepchild.
Hey, with the red hair.
Anyway, I digress.
But they got good beer in Lederhosen. Come on.
Well, that's the thing. They get drunk and come up with these bad ideas late at night. Hey, you know what? Well, Poland looks pretty easy. It's just anyway. I digress.
Jake Gyllenhaal for Nightcrawler, that intense guy with the overnight photography, and if it bleeds, it leads. David Oyelowo, who plays Martin Luther King Jr., is nominated. Eddie Redmayne, he's gonna make a run for it. I still think Michael Keaton will win. Eddie Redmayne played Stephen Hawking in The Theory of Everything, and if you see those clips, go see the movie. By the way, the movie is about half hour into it. I went, oh, this is a love story. That's what the movie is, basically a love story. It's not about
look how him and his wife.
Yeah, it's not look how smart this guy was and look at his achievements. They're all presented, but it's basically a love story about how his wife supported him
and stayed with him.
And how does this guy survive Lou Gehrig's for 40 years?
That's what he had?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, he got it in college, and typically you get like 2 or 3 years and you're done.
Yeah.
He's like 72 years old or something, and still alive.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
But anyway, Eddie Redmayne plays. It's amazing how he becomes Stephen Hawking, even physically. But again, my money's going to be on Michael Keaton for Birdman. Beetlejuice will get the Academy Award, and I think he may be given some fun speeches too.
God, I sweat profusely when I eat at this place. I mean, I think I have a little stroke. I'm having like a minor stroke with every meal.
Don't you want the guys who win and the gals who win to have fun speeches, right?
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Well, and again,
Yes.
you and I talked about this before the show. I used to work with Bob Yates, and he's very in touch with the entertainment world. And
he's a writer.
The Golden Globes, his favorite award show by far, he said, because they're all sitting at tables getting liquored up.
Yep.
I mean, it's a bunch of drunk celebrities getting behind the microphone.
And that's the I don't know who came up with it first, but that's what we do at the Critics' Choice Awards as well. There are dinner tables. There's an open bar beforehand. There's open bars during the broadcast.
Nice.
And all around the tables, you're going to go, hey, there's Michael Keaton.
Well,
hey, there's Jake Gyllenhaal.
Hey,
there's Emma Stone.
I'd like to see one of these award shows, either the Golden Globes or you guys, institute just a random roofie. There's going to be a female celebrity who gets or it could be male who gets a random roofie and then has to give a speech.
So we should invite Bill Cosby? What do you say?
I don't want anybody.
Hey-o!
I want nobody assaulted in any way, shape, or form. I just want to see somebody stumble on stage and give a really bad speech.
In all these years that I've been a member, I never went because KSTP wasn't going to pay for it for me to go. Mm-hmm. And last year I said, screw it, I'm going to go, and I'm glad I did. It's so surreal, and I'm going to go again this year. To be in a room like that.
That's very cool.
And then you get the voice of God, we are back in 30 seconds. Because you're in a commercial break, and everyone's jammed around the bars. It's just crazy. I got to talk to Oprah Winfrey going, because when I worked at Good Company, all those producers, by the way, went on to produce Oprah's show.
Wow.
So we had a whole conversation.
I'm thinking you and Oprah, those are two heads that would not fit in a two-shot. I mean, you couldn't get wide enough.
Right.
I mean, she's got a big head.
Mine's probably bigger, though.
But yours is
Mine's
bulbous.
pretty big. I'll give you a quick rundown of the best actresses. Jennifer Aniston.
Yes. Oh, I love her.
Really?
Yeah. For a movie called Cake. And
eat it, too.
And the bit is she wears no makeup. She does the whole, I'm going ugly.
I'll take it.
And a lot of times that works.
Works for me.
You'll take her
I'll
ugly.
take ugly Jen.
You said a lot of times this works. Is that a way of saying for you it didn't, or?
They haven't given me the screener.
Quit being
for
serious.
okay.
Quit being serious. How dare you?
Oh, fuck you.
I'll tell you who I'll tell you who I think is going to win.
Wow.
But first,
Zing.
Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl.
Mm-hmm.
She was so good at being bad, but you can't say much yet because people who haven't seen the movie.
You'll ruin the whole.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, you don't want to say why she's so good. Julianne Moore for Still Alice. She plays an Alzheimer's woman, a very smart professor who gets Alzheimer's and it happens quickly for her. She does a great job in that.
She remembers to show up for the awards.
Felicity Jones, Theory of Everything. She plays the wife of Stephen Hawking's. Gorgeous, fun woman. I think Reese Witherspoon may win. And the movie's called Wild, and here's why we should care about Wild.
Because Reese Witherspoon's in it.
Yes. It was written by a Minnesota woman.
Really?
We heard the story of Cheryl Strayed is her name. She graduated from the University of Minnesota. She was the homecoming queen at McGregor High School in northern Minnesota.
Huh.
Be a writer.
Big Sandy Lake, is that?
I don't know.
Big Sandy, is that McGregor? Well, whatever.
Sounds right.
I think it is.
So she, her life here started to unravel, even though she was very smart and had some talent. She got hooked up in drugs.
Sounds like a female version of me.
Yeah, a little bit. Here's how she decided to clear her head. She was going to hike the entire Pacific Crest Trail, so like 2,000.
Comparison ends.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fascinating movie, though.
You can barely get to the hot plate in the other room.
I'll be out of breath when I get to the front door. It is what it is.
Well, and the bit is she did not train for it. She was a mess when she did it, and she does an incredible job. And so two things. We need to support her because it's a Minnesota story based on a real event. Cheryl Strayed and Reese Witherspoon. It's a good movie, actually. And it follows in flashback on how Cheryl's life became unraveled, and then also documents her struggles going from a non-hiker to actually doing the entire 2,000.
I can understand that struggle.
Yeah, so those are the main bits there.
I've lost the clock, track of the clock here. We're running short on time. Do you have closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. I'm going to go Michael Keaton will win the Academy Award.
That'd be awesome.
I'm going to go out there to the
I like him.
I'm going to go out there to the Critics' Choice Awards.
Dream team.
And I'll try and get as much sound as I can. And if you guys want, I can give you weekly movie bits, reviews.
Oh, absolutely.
All right?
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't have time, you can come on the Pubcast, too. So
all right, I'll do both.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll do both.
Perfect.
I got some free time.
Well, you live in the West Burbs, right? You're kind of a West Burbs guy.
I'm Minnetonka, yep.
My favorite Rusty Gatenby moment is it would be the Monday you called in sick after posting pictures of yourself at Maynard's all day long on Sunday.
Did I do that?
Yes. Yeah, I remember going downstairs to do the sports on Monday, and Hammer's chuckling. He goes, God, Rusty called in sick. I went to his Facebook page. He was at Maynard's all night. He's got pictures from the bar. You dummy.
Did not happen. Did not happen.
Thanks, Rusty. Hey, Rusty, where can people get your show?
RustyGamerReview.com is where you can find all this stuff. It gets compiled. But just we're on that Alive and Social Network. All the shows are posted there as well. And thanks for letting me hang out here. And
thanks for spending the time.
Eat the French fries without offering me.
Oh, no,
you breathed all over.
Well, I do have to breathe to live. It is what it is.
If that's all you did, that's actually probably good.
Congratulations on the upcoming nuptials as well.
Yes.
That's not a secret, right? Elvis is going to marry him.
From the Critics' Choice, we're driving to Vegas, baby.
Yeah, I love it.
And Jennifer, who's on my show, she's my sidekick. She's my Ed McMahon.
God, how did I get the short end of trade? Maybe? No, I'm just kidding.
A little different.
Jennifer looks a little better than that. Yeah, then we're going to go get married, and all of that's going to be on.
And Elvis is going to marry
him.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. He's going to do the nuptials.
That's awesome.
At the little chapel on the Strip.
Thanks, Rusty. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Check him out, Rusty Gatenby Review. We'll be back after this.
Okay, last year, 2013, I lived just down the road, Pleasant Avenue, just a few blocks here from Uptown Pond, which is right on the corner of Lake and Pleasant. And, there are a couple of times, you just try to get to that next payday, maybe a couple of bucks short. If you've got some items, jewelry, diamonds, electronics, I mean, you come down here and they give you a fair price for it, and then you come back a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever, you get it back at a real reasonable price.
So we're very competitive, we hope, on different angles, in different ends, and different articles. Computers, electronics, TVs, jewelry. We buy, we give loans, and we also have emphasis on diamond jewelry too, that we also try and give credit for the best we can. We're specialists in that area also, so it's an all-round sort of combination.
Well, it's a great place. It's a nice, clean place with honest people, and I tell you what, it's got a real family feel to it. As a matter of fact, it's tied into the Strauss family, and I go way back with the late, great Jerry. So, I mean, these are people I know and people I trust. You can find them on Twitter, too, by the way. They're at Uptown Pond, and also on Facebook, Uptown Pond, and uptownpond.net.
Hi, I'm Terry Daniel, and I've been a voice actor in Minneapolis for over 2 decades now. How often are you getting compliments on your voice? Now is the time to do something about it. If you're interested in getting into voiceovers, please contact me via my website at universalvoicetalent.com.
We're back at Devil's Advocate, the Jeff Dubay Show. Thanks again to Rusty Gatenby for stopping in and educating us in the world of film, of motion picture. Isn't that cool? He gets to actually vote in Critics' Choice Awards and shit.
It almost pisses me off. Like, I'm so jealous. That would be such a fun job.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'm just jealous he's going to go to Vegas and get married to a hottie.
Well, that part too. But see you, Rusty.
But we are, we're not a sports-intensive show, but we're a sports-first show. And we been meaning to get to a Big Ten basketball preview with my boy Tony Anderson. I always forget your first name, and it's last name. It's Anderson. How can I forget Anderson?
It's a really tough one.
It's ridiculous.
It's up there with Smith with those tough names.
Tony's a bartender here at Devil's Advocate, and he's a basketball scout. I mean, the man does not just gravy train off other people. I mean, he gets out and does it. I mean, tell people what you did over Thanksgiving weekend in Peoria. But I mean, the clean stuff, the good stuff.
Pretty much, eat, sleep, drink basketball. I was down there for 5 days. I usually cover maybe somewhere between 7 and 10 games a day. So yeah.
There's a high school tournament?
Absolutely.
How many teams?
There's 32 teams from over 20 states.
How many games you watch?
I was there for 18 of them.
Jesus Christ! 18 games in 5 days.
Yeah.
Wow. But you see, give me
some of the top players in the country. There's a team from Virginia, Cape Henry High School, which ranks top 15 in the country. They have a kid by the name of Chris Clark that's going to Virginia Tech next year, and a kid Marcus Evans that's going to play for Rice. there's a bunch of like local teams from like the Chicago, southern Wisconsin, western Iowa area that play in it as well.
I always wonder why Virginia Tech can never get good at basketball, being right in Tobacco Road.
Now that Buzz is their coach, I think the recruiting's actually going to hype up a little bit.
All right. I mean, it should.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a tough sell when you're recruiting against the other Tobacco Road schools.
The players really like Buzz, and he was actually able to bring like 3 or 4 of the guys that were going to go up to Marquette with him last year when he switched jobs down to VT. So, yeah.
I'm not sure why he did that. Marquette's a pretty good job.
I think coaching in the ACC is kind of a big draw right now. I mean, you look around, you have Pitino, Roy Williams, Krzyzewski.
Yeah. Well,
there's a lot of big names. So yeah.
Well, yeah, let's start the Big Ten preview. As a matter of fact, it's kind of a buzzkill for me because the class of the conference this year does appear to be Wisconsin. I mean, they opened the season ranked number 2. I get it. I mean, Bo Ryan's a fantastic coach, and you know what? This isn't. One of the reasons I've hated Wisconsin all these years is because they're so hard to watch. Winning games 48-44, whatever. There's a different bit. I mean, this team will get up and down. This team will score in the 70s and the 80s. It's not the same Bo Ryan bit.
I think that the fact that he has a couple of guards that have been there for 3 years now make a huge difference on that team. Nigel Hayes, the power forward that they have, he's kind of a different element. They haven't had that since a guy by the name of Marcus Landry played there maybe about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he can mix that.
He's got 3 seniors in the lineup.
Kaminsky's obviously a tough matchup for every team out there. So, yeah, I mean, they really don't have a true point guard, but I think all their other pieces are really good.
I'll tell you what, though. I know he's Jim Jackson's kid. I know he's been in the Big Ten for 4 years now. People like to talk about him. But Trayvon Jackson still can't shoot a jump shot.
You know what Trayvon Jackson does really well? Finishes games.
Yeah, you're right.
He will go
he gets to the line when he needs to.
He will shoot 1 for 13, but he will make that one shot with 6 seconds
left
to win the game. That's what happens.
Piss me off. But what he always seems to have, at least what Bo Ryan has when he's good, is a big man who can play a face-the-basket game. I mean, whether it was the kid from Orono, Lure, for many years, and now Kaminsky plays, I think, an even better game than Lure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they had another guy by the name of Keaton Ackerville that was kind of in that same mold. Brian Butch back in the day.
And Bruzewitz.
Yeah, Bruce. I like Bruce. Yeah, now in the new age college basketball, those hybrid utility guys are very important. That's kind of the position I put him in.
I know he's your boy, but I mean, just tell him if you're 6'10", 6'11", whatever, with red hair, you don't need a perm to get attention. I mean, you stand out already.
From what I heard, he was rock star status as far as Madison went. Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet he got hit. I have no doubt about that. We're going to try to focus mostly on the upper half of the conference. I mean, how many teams do you think this league can get in the tournament this year? Because now Maryland and Rutgers are in the mix.
Yeah.
It's confusing to me.
And I'm a big ACC guy.
Yeah.
And
you should be.
And I can tell you.
We won the challenge again, though. Big Ten 2 years in a row, right?
I can tell you right off the bat, you don't want to go play at Maryland when they're playing at home. It's similar to going to Madison. They're not going to lose a lot of games there. I mean, the Big Ten this year, I think. After Wisconsin, it's kind of a crapshoot. There's 6 to 8 teams that all could, juggle between that 2-8 position, and nothing's really set in stone. I think there's a lot of teams that are trying to find their identities right now. Last year there was a lot of seniors that graduated, and people are being implemented into new roles. So right now it's kind of up for grabs as far as where to seed these teams.
Do we have a tournament team here? We haven't had a bad non-conference, but we didn't make a statement either. We let a couple get away that we could have had.
Me and Sulian were talking about this yesterday, and I really believe that the Gophers are in a good situation because they have guard play. And they have 2 seniors in the backcourt that are going to be controlling the ball for the most part. But, adding newcomers like Carlos Morris and Nate Mason to the mix, they're 4 deep at guard, and anybody that follows the tournament knows that guard play can go a long way. Look at UConn the last couple of years.
And it looks like maybe Andre's ready to really carry the bit when he has to, huh?
I think so, yeah. Last year at the end of the year, he had a sore foot, and I think it kind of affected his production.
Yeah.
But he's back to normal sophomore year Andre this year.
Okay, what about the 2 problems I've had here? You got DeAndre Matthew has a domestic assault. Is he done here for good? Is he sticking around trying to get through this and play again?
Are you talking about McNeil?
McNeil, my bad. Daquan McNeil, my bad. God, I'm bad at names tonight.
You can't miss the names on those
No.
Daquan. I've heard some insider information about it, and it's not boding well for him. Okay. I don't know all the facts, but I would say for his situation, the fact that they have 3 guards coming into next year's class, it's probably not great for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what about the defection? Because you told me this is going to be more of a problem next year, the transfer.
Speaking about Martin?
Yes.
Yeah, well, when you look at their roster right now, I mean, they have Mo Walker and Elias, and they're both seniors down low. And then you have Bugs and Joey King at the 4 position, and they're both sophomores. With Martin leaving, I mean, they really don't have a true low post presence next year, and there's no one coming in. So I really think that's going to affect him more. And he was a guy that you need to wait on. I mean, all the intangibles as far as athleticism and things like that he had, but the actual basketball stuff he had to learn. So I was kind of surprised when he left, because he's a guy that usually comes around by like his sophomore, junior year.
Is Johnson coming in next year?
Johnson's coming in next year.
Okay. Will he play right away?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think they'll have him playing with Nate Mason, the freshman this year, off the ball, and the ball will probably be in Johnson's hands more next year.
Nice. And for those who don't know, Jarvis Johnson, De La Salle, I mean, a legitimate big-time recruit, not just a hometown get.
Absolutely. He's a top 100 talent, and I think,
yeah, you love the Islanders, don't you?
Yeah, we talked about him before. I really think his best basketball is in the future.
Yeah, I mean, you follow that team pretty closely, do you not?
Absolutely,
They're loaded.
I live like 3 blocks away from their high school.
Give me a couple other names. There's more D1 guys there, right?
Yeah, they have a kid by the name of Gonner Marr, who's only a sophomore, who's one of the top 100 kids in the country for the 2017 class, I believe.
You got a shot?
Yeah, absolutely. Good. And then Josh Collins, who's a senior this year, he's going to the University of North Dakota. And then Sakar Amin is the other wing kid that they have.
Sakar Amin?
Yeah, Sakar Amin. And
that's a cool name. I want him on my team just so the name is
popular. Yeah, he's one of the best defensive perimeter players in the country.
Nice.
Yeah, very good.
Nice. And you don't get kids recruited for defense often enough.
No.
Seriously. I mean, God, you remember Nate Tubbs? I love Nate Tubbs. He could guard the shit out of anybody.
Yeah.
But just, long, athletic with the reach. I love guys who can get out on the wing and eliminate a score.
That's the most important thing in basketball right now. I mean, those intangibles, obviously it's a totally different game than the 80s. Most guys can't shoot, so you have to be able to do that.
Who else you like in the Big Ten? They're talking about the top 3 or 4. We're behind Wisconsin.
I really like.
Let's go one at a time.
Okay, I like Wisconsin at the top right now, and like I said, it's kind of open after that. But with Maryland coming to the conference, what people don't understand with Des Wells and Jake Layman, they have a couple of upperclassmen guards that have been there, done that, and they have a freshman point guard that's averaging 15 a game right now by the name of Melo Tremble.
Another cool name.
Yeah,
cool name.
Maryland's going to be tough. Ohio State's right there in the mix. I'm big on Iowa, even though their record doesn't really show it right now. I really think that by the end of the year, Iowa's going to be a team that you don't want to play.
Okay, Wisconsin started the year number 2, number 2 in the country, and this is a team that has made some runs, deep runs in the tournament. They do from time to time get to when you get to the elite of the elite, and you're playing in the Sweet 16s and Elite 8s and Final 4s. You sometimes you come up against like a Louisville, just athletes on top of athletes,
yep.
And sometimes they have matchup problems. Is Wisconsin good enough to win it all?
Yeah, well, they're always in there because of their contrast play style. That they always make people kind of defer to their style, and that bodes well for them. They'll keep the game in the 50s, like you said before. This is a different team. This Wisconsin team will score in the 80s, so it'll be interesting what happens during tournament time. But I thought like the old Wisconsin teams, like that old Final Four team from 2001.
Yeah, with Finley. The Finley team.
Yeah, they were really good at that. You know what I mean? This team's different. I think they'll get a little bit more exposed. I think last year they snuck up on people, but this year people are more ready for Wisconsin. You know what I mean?
Do you think Bo Ryan has fine-tuned what he does because he's gone to the tournament so many times with highly ranked teams? And I'm not going to say he's failed. He's had some great runs. And it's really, I think it's so hard to win the NCAA basketball tournament. I know that there's a sport that's harder to win a title in than college hoops because there's just so many variables once you get to that time of the year. So many great teams. But I kind of sense that, he's had a lot of tournament teams. He's made a lot of good tournament runs. That maybe he's just kind of fine-tuning the bit to be more, adaptable for March.
I actually had a conversation with him this summer. I was at his team camp, and I
heard he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
He looks like a crabby prick.
Great guy, man.
I mean, from a distance, you just think, God, that guy's just pissed off.
No, he's your typical Wisconsin guy, man. He wants to fish and hunt, and yeah, he's really laid back. He told me that this last group that went to the Final Four was actually maybe his 5th most talented team that he had, but they just wanted it, and these guys work harder than everybody else. So yeah, they overcome some obstacles, but he's got the same core this year. But it's interesting because I really don't see them have like a true point guard, and I always go back to the NCAA tournament when you look at teams with success, where you look at like a Shabazz Napier and things like that. Like those guys can bring it to you in the March, and like right now, Trevon and those guys are kind of combos. So.
But they're seniors at least.
They are, and that's very important.
It is. But it's nice to have the ball in the hands of a stone-cold scorer, cold-blooded scorer down the stretch.
Or a kid that's not scared to take the big shot, and they have that.
Yeah, they do. They do have that experience. It was kind of funny. A year ago, somewhere online, I don't know if it was Facebook or something, somebody did a side-by-side like photo comparison, a bunch of pictures of Bo Ryan next to Jim Carrey made up as the Grinch from the movie The Grinch Stole Christmas. And I mean, he looked exactly like him.
Yeah,
they captured the same facial expression. It was unbelievable. The man looks exactly like the Grinch. How's Tim Miles doing? I mean, I think Tim Miles, I got nothing but respect for this guy. When he was at NDSU, and they went to Madison and beat the Badgers at the Kohl Center.
Yeah.
That's when he got our attention on the PA and Dubay show, and we got him on right away. And he became a regular because he was just such a good guy. We had him on all the time. And I just always kind of had him ticketed. I mean, you knew he'd go up the chain. And I thought someday this guy's going to wind up coaching in Minnesota. But the problem is, he got too good too fast. I mean, he went, Colorado State, then boom, Nebraska. I mean, that happened. He got to the Big Ten about 5 years before I thought he would. And we were ready for him, to be honest with you, because I think this would have been a great fit. I think he would have absolutely loved it. Not that I'm not more than happy with the current staff. I think it's a great hire. But Miles is a guy who is, I mean, he went from NDSU to Nebraska in, 3 years? Yep. I mean, it was quick, and it's deserved. And I got to believe he's going to build something.
Obviously, I love Tim Miles because I'm a North Dakota boy.
Yeah.
He's kind of down the same path. If you know the name Doug McDermott at Creighton, kind of the same thing where he was at Northern Iowa, and I really thought that like if a Minnesota or Wisconsin job or something like that, he'd be perfect because he really knows the recruiting grounds as far as this region's concerned. Tim Miles has one of the best players in the country that no one knows about, Teron Petaway, who's the kid. I think he's the small forward, the 6'6" junior.
Okay.
Yeah, and he averages around 20 a game, but yeah. Tim Miles has an awesome thing going there. Lincoln is a lot like playing in Maryland. These new teams that have been implemented in the league, you don't want to go play on their home court. They're tough.
See, now you can look at some programs around the country and then kind of look at them as like sleeping giants. Like they haven't been traditionally good or powerful, but they're in great college towns with huge fan bases, a lot of money behind them, big alumni associations, and to me, and in good conferences. And to me, Nebraska became one of those sleeping giant I mean, just a ton of potential. Their practice facility, have you seen it? It's supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the top ones in the country. They got a new arena, correct, didn't they?
Yeah,
they got a new arena, new practice facility.
They got iPads in the shitters.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. If you're going to take a dump, you got an iPad.
And everybody,
I hope they wash it.
And I play college football.
That's disgusting.
I play college football, and everybody knows that, back in the 90s and, early 2000s, that the Nebraska practice facilities for football were top-notch as far as the country's concerned. That was their biggest draw, and I think they're kind of implementing that into their basketball program, which is cool. Yeah.
So what about Rutgers? We don't know anything about Rutgers.
Rutgers, I can tell you right now, they have two seniors. They got Kadeem Mack, who's a senior big guy, and then I don't know the other. They have another guard but they both average around 15 a game. They've been there. They've been in the Big East for 4 years. Rutgers, like I said, I mean, now that this thing is spread out to the East Coast, Iowa doesn't want to go out and play Rutgers on their home floor. That they bring that Big East toughness brand to the Big Ten, which is similar. You know what I mean? It's a similar brand of basketball.
Let me ask you this. I mean, we have talked a lot on this show about the reach of the Big Ten network. And the fact that you went out and secured these teams out east. I mean, Penn State's been around for a while now. But, I mean, that gives you Philadelphia. That gives you Pittsburgh. I mean, good TV markets. All of a sudden you go out and you get Baltimore, you get Washington, D.C., you get New York City. I mean, the gem of all gems. Now, these are all affiliate cities and markets of the Big Ten network. So the Big Ten is making money. They're printing money. Their games are on everywhere. But what about in terms of recruits? I mean, we can see some East Coast kids come to the Midwest.
Well, yeah, that's awesome that you touched on that because when you look at the two teams that were brought in, I mean, Maryland, D.C. is historically known as one of the biggest hotbeds as far as high school recruits. I mean, Maryland's right there in their backyard, and then Rutgers obviously being in Jersey, New York. I mean, there's a lot of kids in that area. I know that, from coach's standpoint, they'll look at a kid from wherever, and if he gets shunned by one school, they'll be like, well, come play for us in our conference. You get to see him twice a year, blah, blah, blah. So I think there will be a domino effect where you'll see more kids from New York and the East Coast come to the Midwest and play for some of these teams.
And I mean, if 10 years ago, you coaching at the University of Minnesota or Iowa, and you send a letter, to a kid who's in Brooklyn, he might be like, who the fuck is this? But he goes home and he sees you on TV now.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of those kids back in the day would come and they'd be gone at semester break. But I think now that the conference is expanding and, like you said, with all the money being pumped in, it's a different ballgame.
And here's where I think Minnesota has what works against them in football, I think works for them in basketball, or at least it should. And that is that we are not in the middle of a cornfield.
No.
I mean, it's tough to get a New York City kid to go to Lincoln.
No.
It's tough to get a New York City kid into Iowa City. But you bring him here. I mean, this isn't New York City, but it's a metropolitan area with some life. I mean,
we have a metropolitan campus. I mean,
and an NBA team.
Absolutely.
And an NBA team in your backyard.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a better draw for a kid who's a city kid.
I think so. I mean, I know that. I mean, the hardest part they probably have is having a kid from Florida stick around. You know what I mean, because of the weather situation.
Sure.
But yeah.
But that's why I think this potentially is a program that could be a sleeping giant. I mean,
absolutely. With the coaching staff they have in place right now, I mean,
the media market size, the NBA franchise, those all matter.
Patino and those guys have a strong connection with the East Coast kids in general.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I really do believe the kids like to play in a market where there's an NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
There's just more attention. They like. I mean, I know that in the past a lot of kids go to a lot of games. Across the river.
I can tell you right now, Andrew Wiggins makes Minneapolis a lot more sexy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was the kid. He's the peer that all these kids that are 15, 16 have been looking up to the last 5-6 years.
Sure,
yeah, absolutely.
Sure. So give me how many? It's got to be 14 teams. Let me ask you this: do they do divisions for basketball, or is it just straight up one conference? I don't know how they do this. I don't know how they're working it. It's like the format for the. You can't play every team twice.
No, and I think they kind of handpick the games. I know they do that in the ACC.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's just a football thing, but in the ACC, like they'll keep like the main rivalries together. Like Wisconsin, Minnesota will probably play each other twice.
Sure.
Like all the border battle type games.
Now let me ask you this: do you think we'll get a Big Ten tournament at the Madison Square Garden ever?
That's what it's looking like. Everything I've checked online, it seems like. I mean, it makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
God, that would be huge.
Yeah, no, it will.
Wow, that'd be huge. Midwesterners invading the Big Apple. Bunch of farmers from Nebraska going, really, there's some big buildings around
But I mean,
here.
having it at the United Center is a pretty good situation as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Indianapolis is an amazing little city for any kind of sporting event.
They have everything go through there.
It's a lot like this city, to be honest with you. It's very similar to this city. I mean, they've just become the template for hosting Final Four, Super Bowls, whatever. I mean, it's just they get it done.
Well, the NCAA.
It's like a big convention city.
Yeah, they have all the NCAA. The main corporate NCAA stuff is all ran through there. That's where the tournament committee and everybody else is hosted. So
they just don't want to travel. You tell me they're lazy.
Right.
So 14 teams. How many are going to go to the tournament from this league?
I would say that this league this year, especially like I said, with a lot of teams not knowing what their identities are, they're going to beat each other up.
Yeah.
But I think that
committee looks at that though.
Yeah, they do. And like I was talking to Suhan yesterday, that loss that the Gophers had to Louisville. I would take a 10-point loss to Louisville over a 30-point blowout to like Old Dominion.
A lot of people saw that game too.
When they're actually picking teams at the end of the year. Yep. So I think maybe 5 or 6. You know what I mean?
Well, that's all. That's not a huge number.
The Pac-12's kind of moved up a little bit. They're really big on the Big 12 this year. And like I said, I mean, I'm an ACC guy. You can't tell me that they're not going to fit 7 teams in that, or 6 or 7 teams from the ACC.
You know what's weird though? The Big Ten has finally started to win these Big Ten ACC challenges after getting just their lunch handed to them for like a decade. But the ACC doesn't have a lot of depth. I mean, there's some bad teams at the bottom that you can really beat up on. Yeah,
they're extremely top heavy. I mean, you don't want to play Duke, Louisville's, the Carolinas, things like that. Well, even though Carolina's struggling right now, but you really don't want to play those teams. But like when you kind of dip down into like the Clemsons and some of those other teams in the Boston colleges, Hey,
that great, miraculous Miami run last year. Any chance of seeing that again? Like a team coming up out of nowhere out of that league? I mean, Miami was fun last year.
I like their coach, man. He's relentless.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, thanks a lot. Do you want to stick around for the last couple minutes?
No, I can hang out.
Okay, hang on. We're going to take a final break and come back and wrap it up.
Folks who've listened to the show, they know that I lived in the Uptown area here, right down Pleasant Avenue, as a matter of fact, and on the corner of Pleasant Lake is where Uptown Pond is. And I have been here numerous times, had numerous business dealings with them. It's just a nice place with good, honest people. Bob Jacobson, the owner, you run the place. You've always been good to me.
Thanks, Jeff. We try. That's part of our business. We're here to help people, and so everybody walks in the door. We hope we can help.
Well, what I've always appreciated is when people are nice to people who are the low man on the totem pole. Like when I was a bat boy, I like the star guys who are nice to the bat boy. Right. And I mean, I came in here and you guys didn't know who I was. You didn't know I had a radio show, and you treated me great. I mean, just a guy up the street.
Listen, that's the idea with I think a smaller family type business. Somebody walks in the door, we don't want to let them see everybody gets treated the same way, and we hope that's the case. And we don't want to see them leave without. We try our very best.
It's really easy. It's easy. It's low pressure. Good, honest people. Right on the corner of Lake Street and Pleasant Avenue. You guys got to check out Uptown Pond.
And I really don't want to. I don't know the best way to put this. I really appreciate folks that support the show, and the best way to support the show is to get out and support our sponsors. And online, guys like Patrick Ditcher, good friends of mine. They do a really nice job of pumping up these people and sending them some business. I mean, basically, podcasting is a weird thing. I mean, it's just kind of recently come into vogue as a way to maybe make a living. I mean, when Sean came up with this, I thought, okay, what the hell? I mean, I thought I'm out of radio stations. There's not much I can do, but you don't need a radio station. I mean, you do your own thing, but none of it goes anywhere if we don't have the support of advertisers. And we're extremely grateful to Devil's Advocate. I mean, they were there. They took a chance. I mean, because we hadn't started the network yet. We hadn't done a single show. They didn't know what they were in for. And
Ground zero right here.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. And they got in from the very beginning, and it's been a great relationship. Uptown Pond, Burger Mo's, the other network,
Shamrocks,
and the local, all local, all places that advertise on the Alive and Social Network. I mean, basically, the way this works is, we can keep doing the show as long as advertisers prosper and continue to support us. So I mean, I'm basically a monkey with the guy turning the crank on the box, and if you keep go to Uptown Pond, do some Christmas shopping, and this monkey will dance. I'll do a little dance. With the guy grinding the monkey box, I'll just throw some quarters in my tin cup, and we'll do a little dance for you.
And share the show on social media. That always helps too.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to tell a friend or share to a friend.
Absolutely. Hey, Tony, there's always talk. I mean, this is we got an inferiority complex here in the Midwest. We consider ourselves flyover country, and we're always afraid that there's greener pastures. I mean, with football coaches being let go, Nebraska, Michigan, everybody gets all worried about Kill. And people have always talked about, even though he's only been here a couple years and hasn't really made a huge mark yet, that Patino's going to be on to bigger, brighter pastures. And I can certainly see a day where that would happen if he's successful and has an opportunity. But I didn't. He said he'd like to be here till he's 60. I don't buy that. But I mean, when we were just talking about this, I mean, this is. I'm just looking outside at big buildings right now. I mean, this is a major metropolitan area. I mean, this should be a really good job. Why isn't this a better job? Don't you think this should be I don't want to say an elite job, but the next step down from an elite job, because you got to go into the inner city to get some talent, and you can't take that to Iowa City or Champaign and sell it. It's hard. It's hard to do.
I think program history has a lot to do with it. There's always going to be those jobs. Everybody wants to go play, coach at Carolina and Kentucky and the Dukes and things like that, and the Kansases, and those are always going to be the big jobs because of what happened, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Money isn't as big as an issue because a lot of, small market teams. I mean, I think VCU's paying Shaka Smart like $3 million a year or something like that. I mean, most of these teams with shoe endorsements and things like that, that's not as big a deal. But I think the fact that his pedigree and his last name, and the fact that the two schools that his dad coached at just kind of leads to the fact that he's going to probably be on that level, sooner than later.
Yeah. I don't know why. I do believe, though, that the Big Ten Network and the new extended reach, getting into all the major markets, I mean, they're going to be I know ESPN's going to pick up the best games out there, but there's going to be more Big Ten basketball shown in more major cities to potential recruits than ever before. And I still think that as the conference rises, I mean, it's going to bring everybody up with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's guys. I don't think Bo Ryan's going to ever leave Wisconsin, until he's done.
No.
Things like that. But yeah, I mean, this conference always kind of gets shunned in the beginning of the year, where they'll look at ACC or a Big East or something like that, and then at the end of the year, when you actually look at the tournament teams, Big Ten's always in the mix. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like I said, they beat each other up and they're battle tested by the time they're ready to play. So.
Well, and what helps the Big Ten is it's a physical league where the refs let them play.
Yep.
And you get to the tournament and that get some real. And Jason's made this point in the past too, that you get some teams from other leagues that they get touch fouls all year long, and now they're getting banged in the tournament, and they're not used to it.
It's easier.
It's good for us.
When you spread those Big Ten teams out, you usually see them do pretty well, like on the first weekend, because like I said, they're so used to seeing each other, and then it's kind of a relief when you have to go play a finesse team from the West Coast or something like that.
Yeah, it is. Hey, did you see the? I assume you saw the Duke-Wisconsin game.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me, I did not. I was really disappointed. I was busy and I did miss that. And I was really impressed that Duke could go into Madison and win that one. And how'd our boy Tyus?
I got to give a shout out to Tyus Jones, man.
Yeah.
He has been amazing in his two big TV games against Michigan State and Wisconsin. Were two best games of the year for him.
Well,
I mean, he's always been a kid that shines when the lights are shining. So.
Yeah, I mean, and how good for him and how good for Jabari that they're playing together.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Jabari's got to be so fired up to see Tyus on that campus this year.
Are you talking about Okafor? Or?
Okafor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But Jabari. The sophomore for Duke, the big kid, low post.
What? No, Okafor, the freshman, the other freshman. Those two are best friends. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about. Okay, I'm sorry. I've lost track of names now. I've had a weird day for names. I can't keep names straight. I'm messing up movie titles. I think I have a little touch of early onset dementia. With any luck at all, it'll blow into full blown Alzheimer's by Christmas. But we've got just a few minutes left. Give me a sleeper. Give me a sleeper. Give me two sleepers. Just a couple teams. I don't want to say off the radar because everybody's got some potential in this league, but give me a couple in the Big Ten.
I think Nebraska's a sleeper. Like I said before, I think Maryland's a team that just people aren't familiar with. That'll really be a surprise by the end of this year. A kid that people don't really know about, but a name that they should, is DJ Newble out of Penn State. He's a kid. I have him, Kaminsky from Wisconsin, and Aaron White as like my top 3 possible Big Ten players of the year. So
is Michigan State a top 10 team this year? Are they a deep run team?
No, they fall into that category. Like everybody's trying to kind of find a new role. They have a lot of complementary players from last year that are forced into larger roles.
Yeah.
I think they're a team that'll make the tournament, but I'm not big on Michigan State this year.
I'm a big Tom Crean guy, and 2 years ago Indiana was fantastic, and last year they dropped off. Where are they at right now?
I can tell you right now they have the best freshman in the conference. His name is James Blackman. He's averaging about 20 a game.
Yeah.
Shooting guard. Yeah. So he does have players. He has a couple of McDonald's All-Americans in the mix. I think they have some off-court issues that are kind of disturbing that team, though.
It just seems to me that other than Wisconsin, there's not a team that people are looking at as a national elite in this league right now.
It bothers me because I really don't see the biggest difference between Wisconsin and the rest of the pack. I mean, Wisconsin can definitely lose some games. They could go to Illinois and lose on the road easily, you know what I mean, in this league.
It's just, when you look at like teams that are considered national powers, or they're talking about potential Final Four, they seem like the only team in this league getting inked.
They are, but they're built on a bunch of 3-star prospects, and the parity in college basketball, guys just aren't scared of the name on the front of the jersey anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if Wisconsin lost to Northern Illinois on the non-conference.
Okay, when the last few minutes here, since you are a scout and you know the names before they make their commitments, before they put that hat on at the press conference. Give me some people that people should go out and see. Local high school games, local kids. I mean, obviously, De La Salle is a team.
Yeah.
If you're an inside basketball guy, you want to get out and watch. Who else?
Yeah, we talked about Gary Trent Jr. from Apple Valley, the sophomore. He's
Coffee at Hopkins.
Yeah. Well, Coffee got hurt. He tore his ACL a couple of weeks ago.
I didn't know that.
He's out for and he's the top prospect in Minnesota. There's a kid from Shakopee by the name of Stephon Mitchell, and he's averaging about 36 a game. He's a 6'7" small forward. Junior, he's a kid that people have really been sleeping on, and I think the next 6 months are going to be huge as far as his recruiting goes.
He's a senior already?
He's only a junior.
Oh, only a junior.
He's a kid that I really think locally they need to really target.
When a kid breaks out and makes a name for himself, like that kid started to do, does it usually happen at an AAU setting or in a high school setting?
He was young, so last year as a sophomore he had a major role, and then you can just kind of project when these kids fill out a little bit more and seniors graduate, what their roles are going to expand to. So yeah, he's a kid that we knew that would happen with him.
Yeah.
But it's all about exposure and hype trains and things like that. Not a lot of people are talking about him, but the kid can play.
Well, Shakopee doesn't play a great schedule, do they? I mean, they're not in a great conference.
No, but they play a lot of the larger schools, non-conference and things like that. So
tell me about Coffee. What happened?
He tore his ACL.
Done for the year?
Done for the year, yeah.
He's a senior, right?
He's a senior, yeah.
Had he committed anywhere?
No, excuse me, sorry, he's a junior, yeah.
Okay, so he'll be all right.
He's uncommitted, and the time frame for him is hopefully to get him back by like some of the summer circuit events, like in July.
Okay. Who had he been talking to? Or he hadn't committed yet, right?
Well, yeah, he hasn't committed yet. I know that Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa State, they're all in the mix. Those are some of the first ones that were big on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they don't cool. too bad. I mean, I'm glad he's a junior, so he's got time to come back and reestablish.
He's very diverse. He's kind of a point forward. We haven't had a player like him play there.
Can make a comparison. Give me something I know, like a
Tayshaun Prince type player.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Good defender then, too, long.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's got like a 6'10" wingspan.
Yeah. I mean,
very good handling the ball. Good defensively. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, his dad was one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
I mean, the paratrooper. I mean, how many 6'6" guys come and lead the Big Ten in rebounding? Seriously.
And his two sisters are both, major Division I prospects as well. So
right.
that family's loaded.
I'm a Hopkins guy. I mean, that's the alma mater. I always got to stay true to the Royals. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Appreciate you coming by.
Thanks for having me.
Well, coming by. You work here. I mean, just go behind the bar. Give me a Diet Coke. Damn it.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Tony. Oh, no, Tony. Before you go, we hit the website.
Oh, yeah.
Pump away. Let's go.
It's northernexposurepreps.com.
northernexposurepreps.com.
Yep.
For anything people want to know about basketball prospects, recruits, who's going where, all that information, northernexposurepreps.com or northernexposure.com.
Thank you.
I always mess it up. You give it one more time.
You got it right. Okay. northernexposurepreps.com.
Thank you. I don't know why I screw that up every time, too. Thanks to Jason McGovern. Thanks to Rusty Gatenby. Thanks to Tony Anderson. And thanks to Devil's Advocate. We're done.